Good morning, students. I am Girish Kumar Saxena, lecturer in English, Saraswati Vidya Mandir, Inter College, Mahova. Today, I am going to start a new chapter in poetry, The Song of the Free, composed by a great patriot, saint poet, and great spiritual person of our country, Swami Vivekananda, who belonged to poet of 19th century. He is well familiar with all of us. Last time we studied the stopping by woods on a snowy evening by Robert Frost, who was also concerning the poet of 19th century. In this topic, Swami Vivekananda, as we know, a great inspiring poet, a great literarian saint of our country and poet of English literature. The Song of the Free, based on his slogan that one should not demoralize his own thought, one should not nervous on account of several difficulties coming on his path. In this way, he tried to explain us or our readers of this poem, saying that when somebody struggles in his life, in doing so, he exhibits his great qualities, his inner qualities, those are hidden in the depth of his heart. And in this way, when someone never perturbed, seeing the difficulties on the way, always exhibits his maximum strength in all ways. It is not the matter whether his quality is spiritual or bookish, but according to him, nobody should demoralize, nobody should nervous on seeing the difficulties or a mountain of great difficulties on his way. When he remains powerful and the depth of his heart, the goal is before him, near him, he can easily achieve his goal. Dear students, in fact, this poem has its great moral for everybody who are struggling in his life. Listen its pronunciation attentively. Your focus should be on the blackboard and the words whatever I am uttering or whatever I am explaining through these lines, reading, or we can say sorry, teaching or reading these lines. Oh. The wounded, listen attentively. Your attention, your focus should be on your text. The wounded snake its hood unfurls. The wounded snake its hood unfurls. The flame stirred up doth blaze. The desert air resounds the calls of heart-struck lions' raise. This is the first stanza of the text. It means there are some difficult words concerning this first stanza. What is that? Wounded. Wounded means injured. Injured. You can use, I was injured last day. The accidents occurred or happened, and the person or a particular man is wounded deeply. And next word is hood. Hood. You know, hood is the broad head of a snake. We usually see when someone instigates the snake, it unfurls its hood. The poet describes here. So hood means broad head of a snake. And unfurls. Unfurls means opens. We can use this word in our own sentence. Unfurls. All of us unfurl our tricolor flag on our national holidays or national festivals. Our national festivals and every institution and every offices, every departments, etc. So next word is flame. Flame means fire. Everyone knows. Flame means fire. The flame was brightening. A flame was very hot. You can use this flame. And next is stirred up. Stirred up means poked up. Poked up. It means to instigate something. To instigate any blaze, any fire. And next word is dot. Dot means does. This is the impact of Shakespearean language. There we use dot in place of do or does. Then next word is blaze. The word blaze means burst into flames. To show dynamic strength as the blaze. As a fire burns, so blaze means burst into flames. And next word is desert. Desert means the waterless sandy land without greenery. We saw and our great deserts as in Rajasthan state or Gobi desert. We listened about it, heard about it, read about it. It's called desert. Well known word, well familiar word. This is desert, and it means is a waterless sandy land without greenery. There is no vegetation far and wide for a long distance. So this is called desert, or we can say the field full of sands only. There is no greenery far and wide. This is what is this? This is desert. Now listen again these lines and I will explain you this first stanza. The wounded snake its hood unfurls, the flame stirred up doth blaze, the desert air resounds the calls of heart-struck lions raise. Resounds, resounds mean echoes. We usually see echo sound system when any sound waves resounds or heard by us. We listen it several times, frequently, in no time. This is called echo. This is called echo, or this is the means of resounds the calls. And next, what is the sound echoes? And next, what is heart struck? Heart struck means deeply wounded in the heart. Deeply wounded in the heart. It means when somebody deeply stricken, any sorrow or any great matter of sorrow, he becomes demoralized. This is called heart struck. And next word is rage. This is the last word of this. Rage. Rage means wrath, means great anger, means furious. When somebody became in great anger, that is called rage. So this is the beginning stanza of the poem, in which poet Swami Vivekananda, great saint poet Swami Vivekananda describes his great inspiration towards the reader, saying that, or providing us several examples, as saying that when any injured snake, any wounded snake, when it is injured by somebody or anyhow, it exhibits, it shows its head, or we can say hood, broad head of a snake in a great expansion, in great anger. And when any flame or any cinder of fire instigates several times, it exhibits its deluge or great fire or great heat for somebody or anybody. Same way, we usually see, or several times in the desert of Rajasthan or Gobi or etc. When any wounded snake or any wounded lion, same way, these are the examples of when somebody exhibits his great strength. It is not matter of spiritual strength or physical strength. When he is instigated, he is injured, he is wounded, he can exhibit his deluge strength, great strength. Same way, when any lion in the desert is wounded, he roared is high and high position or apex position, and in doing so, whole desert is full of his cry, his roaring, sound of roaring, and it echoes throughout the desert. Clear? Now come to next stanza of this poem. Listen it attentively. the cloud puts forth its deluge strength, when lightning cleaves its breast, when the soul is stirred to its inmost depth, great ones unfold their best. Great ones unfold their best. How sweet and heart-touching lines are these, in fact, by the poet, giant poet Swami Vivekananda, who was a great patriot of our country. According to whom, here are also some words before you puts forth is gives out, and deluge gives out to give something, to start something or strength, whatever in his own. And next is put forth is gives out, and next word is deluge. Deluge means flood. We all of us know the power of flood. It means the massive quantity of somebody's strength is called deluge. Deluge strength means flood strength. And next word is lightning. Lightning means thunder. Lightning off. When any two clouds have friction each other or rubs each other very forcibly, from there we get great lightning, or we say thunder. Lightning when comes from the sky on account of rubbing or friction of two clouds or several clouds, and that was so powerful that comes from sky to earth, covering so long distance. So we can say in the second stanza, the poet also gives us examples of struggle as he provided in the first stanza. What is that? When clouds have frictions, in doing so it exhibits or gives us great thunder. Same way, when or it is generated, it is created, it is produced on account of great friction, when it comes out cleaving. Cleaving means tearing the breast of the clouds. Breast means chest, breast, all of us know well. Same way, when somebody's soul is stirred or instigated or teased several times by creating huge mountains of troubles or difficulties before him, in that position, that person shows or exhibits his great power, his great strength. It is not the question whether that strength is physical or spiritual or mental, but he performs as much as he could, and that is called the best qualities of that person who always struggle in his life. Now I would like to give you a hint or point out here the great use, the good use of personification in the first line and second line. Those birds are cloud and lightning. This is the good use of personification. a name of figure of speech. Now come to third stanza. Let eyes grow dim and ears grow faint and friendship fail and love betray. These are the many calamities usually comes on our way of life, in our daily routine. So, what is the poet saying? Let eyes grow dim and ears grow faint and friendship fail and love betray. Let fate its 100 horrors send and clotted darkness block the way. Very good line, excellent line of third stanza. Listen attentively. Let eyes grow in dim and ears grow faint. In struggling with the several difficulties of life, the poet, great saint poet, says that or inspire us that our eyesight may be dim, very light or faint, and our audible capacity of our ears may very faint by struggling, and our deep friendship or sheer friendship may fail, and our intimate friend may cheat us. These are the calamities of our life. In doing so, most of the person became demoralized or became nervous. So on account of these calamities, natural calamities, we should not perturb all these difficulties, and praise also inspires that there may be hundreds of horrors, hundreds of fears. Can we sent on our way of life, but besides it, any great darkness, any great difficulty may clot our way, may obstruct our way, may resist our way, but we should not be perturbed, we should not nervous on account of all these difficulties, all these calamities, all these discriminating position, conditions or occasions in our life. Now, last stanza. What is that? And nature were one angry frown, and nature were one angry frown, to crush you out, still know my soul. To crush you out, still know my soul. You are divine, march on and on. You are divine, march on and on, nor right nor left, but to the goal. All the conclusion of life or ideology or philosophy of Swami Vivekananda, the great saint poet, can be observed or is provided for the readers, for the students in the last stanza, last 4 lines of this poem, the Song of the Free. What is Song of the Free? We can observe in the last stanza. Abdul the poet, he says that the nature may be angry, may be in rage. Rage means in great anger, or may destroy any massive person or its great strength also. So that is called angry frown. And in doing so, the nature may crush all of us, all the humanity in spite of this. But we should not perturbed. You can say, or according to poet, our soul should not be disturbed, should not be perturbed by these. No, now listen it. He says that in doing so, my soul should not be disturbed, or these whatever good qualities in our soul, in our mind, or in us, or any great inspirations, or any great desire, or we can say the great inspiration or great firm determination by achieving our goal, we should not disturb with our soul. All these calamities, all these disturbances or many obstructions or resistances. But last two lines, the poet, great saint poet Swami Vivekananda says, our great youth or our readers, what is they saying? Saying, all of us are divine. Human is the great works of nature or Almighty God. So, according to him, we all are goddess or have goddess quality. So, we should march, we should forward, we should proceed to achieve our goal without having any disturbance in our life. I think I provided my best explanations in this concerning this topic, the Song of the Free by great patriot and saint poet Swami Vivekananda. Now listen, its central idea also. On the examination point of view, this chapter is last, this poem is last of our curriculum, and same way this is most important on the examination point of view. So you have to prepare it well, explain all the stanzas given in this poem topic. Also write and learn the central idea of this poem. Now listen its central idea also. The great saint poet in this poem says that he gives us several examples in our life that there are many difficulties, many troubles may fall on the way of our life. We should not perturbed. He describes many discriminatory examples or many obstructing, restraining examples that may affect our strength. But we should not perturb, we should not disturb on account of many calamities in our life. Why? Because we are the part and parcel of omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, this invincible divinity as Lord Brahma. So, from being awake, born to be free, we not fear. So, this is the main aim of our life. Thank you.